Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Scrapbooking Saturday. I'm Leslie Watkins. I hope everybody's well. I hope you're in your crafting studios having some fun today. Um, I have a brand new series of um, live videos that I'm planning on sharing with you, and I'm calling them Scrapbooking Saturdays. And this is something that I have no experience in. Well, a tiny bit. I'm going to show you what I've done so far. But it's something that I'd like to do because what you see here is a pile of photographs, and this is just the beginning. But they're just getting dusty and forgotten up in the attic, and I've reached a certain stage in my life where I'd really like to preserve some of these things and share them. And so I thought, what better way than to do it with you? And I know that an awful lot of you out there are scrapbookers and have been doing it for a very long time. And I know you've got a tremendous amount of knowledge and experience to share with me. So I invite you to do that. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to have a private Facebook group where you are able to upload examples and projects and ideas that you may have that will be helpful to the scrapbooking community. My plan is to go live on the first Saturday of every month, and what I will do is I'll share my progress with you so that you can see what I learn as I go along and how my project develops. Now, my scrapbook is going to be a little bit different from what you might typically imagine a scrapbook to be, because I have pictures that span my entire life, and I also have pictures that are of my ancestors, some of them a little bit, and I want to create a kind of a photo memoir of my life that's a little bit mixed up with scrapbooking, memoir, diary, life journey, and something called a commonplace book. Now, a commonplace book was something that people used to do in the 1600s, and the commonplace book would contain all sorts of ephemera and ideas and quotations and writings that people wanted to preserve. And so in my scrapbook, and I may change the name of it at some point, but for now let's just call it a scrapbook so you get the idea. I'm going to be including artistic elements, so there might be some painting, some sketching. I might do some journaling. I expect that there's going to be journaling that's going to be private that I don't want to share with people, but I do want to jot down. And so things like that might be tucked into flaps, into envelopes, into secret places, and that sort of thing. So a little bit of everything, bits of memorabilia, tickets, um, whatever I find. Today's video is going to be kind of short. I just want to give you a brief introduction and to invite you to comment below so that I can let you know when the Facebook group opens and I can invite you in. I'd love to have you. It's going to be all about ideas and creativities in scrapbooking, so I think you'll find it useful as well. And I'm going to show you a little bit. This is the tip of the iceberg of what I have stored away that I want to pull out. So here on the top of the boxes, you can see this old picture. This is me, and this is a really dusty old picture. But if you look closely, you'll see that I'm sitting on a bench, and it's kind of a step stool, and it was something that I loved to play with when I was a little girl. And at that time, I believe that that bench that I'm sitting on there was in the country house that my family and I moved into when I was about maybe 1 year old. And it had been my grandparents' summer house. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because I still have that bench. Okay, that bench is about 10 feet away from me right now. And it's so sturdy. And I love that thing. I would flip it over and use it as a cradle for my baby. I had a Tiny Tears doll, so any of you who are a kind of a 50s baby, you might remember Tiny Tears. Give me a shout out if anybody knows who Tiny Tears was. I would put it on its end and use it as a little podium. And over the years, anytime we had a painter in the house who was painting the walls of my bedroom or wherever, I would drag out my step stool and they would paint my step stool. So I cannot even tell you how many layers of paint that step stool has on it. But I just, you know, this is the sort of thing, are these stories that these pictures remind us of, and it might be fun to jot a few words down about that to be able to share them with people after we're gone. So what I have here, and I think you're zoomed out all the way, let me just check, there we go. What I have here is an archival photo box that's getting all kind of dusty and dirty, so I'm going to have to clean up these things after the video today. But inside, I've got some treasures. I don't know what's in some of these things. I've got something from my grandmother. This is a photo journal I made, I think, when I was in the Girl Scouts. I'm going to show you that. And here are some pictures that I've begun to collect and protect inside the box, but I've got a ton more. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. So let me show you my first photo album that I ever made. So this was a Girl Scout project, and I really wanted to get the photo badge, and so I put together this photo album, and you can see it's not much different from the albums I'm making today, a little more primitive. And I've designed the front cover. So I've got a picture of me and my cat under a tree on a sunny day. Over here I've got my dog with the doghouse and a great big bowl of food. And then over here I just have some miscellaneous pictures. I'm not sure exactly what they're supposed to be, but nice little perspective job there. All right, so when I was a little girl, I grew up in a very rural area, and there weren't a lot of other kids around for me to play with. And so what I would do is spend a tremendous amount of time with my pets. I'm sure anybody who's been here for any amount of time visiting my videos knows that I love animals. So in here, we have a picture of my first cat. So there's Bootsy, and I think she's carrying a kitten here. And look at these great old photo corners. Okay, so I actually was able to purchase some photo corners that I'm going to be using because in the process of making my scrapbook, I will be using some of these original photographs, and so I don't want to glue them down. I'm going to use the photo corners to help preserve them. And then for the more recent years, I kind of have a problem because I don't have photographs anymore. Like all of us, my photographs are digital. And so I'm currently looking into how I can go about downloading some of these images and having them printed out so that they're like the old time photographs. And it sounds so funny to call these things old time because they really don't feel like old time to me, but I guess they are. So any kind of suggestions that you may have regarding having photos printed, please tell me a little bit about the quality of the photos, the kind of paper. Is it archival? How heavy is the paper? Is the finish matte or glossy? Do you do your own printing? Do you use a photo service? All of those things I have questions about. I don't have any experience in doing this, so you're talking to a very beginner. So please help point me in the right direction so that I can get some good quality photos that hopefully will be archival. I'd like them to be on good quality paper. I'd like the paper to be heavy enough, and I especially don't want the ink to run. I'm concerned about water when I do watercolor and that sort of thing that will cause the photos to melt away. So give me your best advice in the comments below. All right, so we're continuing on with the story of Bootsy and her babies here. So unfortunately, the pictures are really out of focus. I think this was my first camera, and so here is the stone steps up into the house, and you can see we've got 3 tiny kittens, and I remember they were Scamp, Geronimo, and all right, I'll think of the third one in a minute. Give me a minute. It's hard to remember everything while doing a live video, but it will come. Oh, Geronimo, Scamp, and Tippy. Tippy was the third one because Tippy had a little white tip on the end of his tail. So there's little Bootsy outside the screened-in porch. Okay, more pictures of mother cats and babies. Here's a fancy playhouse that I made for the kittens using an old cardboard box, complete with doors and shutters. Oh, and this is kilts. Okay, so there's my collie. You're going to see lots of pictures of kilts because I grew up with him. And when I was a baby, he was a baby. We grew up together, and I'm going to say he and I were best of friends until I was about 10 or 11 years old or so. And there's a picture of both Boots and, Bootsy and Kilts. And this tree, I remember, is one of 2. It was a black cherry tree, and it was so wonderful because in the spring, of course, they were absolutely beautiful with the flowers, and then they would develop these black cherry fruits that were absolutely delicious, but the birds would come and take them all away. So when I was a little girl, I would climb up that tree and I'd sit there and I'd gorge on as many black cherries as I possibly could before they disappeared. So anyway, that's the end of my first photo album, and then I've got a couple other things here to quickly show you. This is a book that I got from my mom when she was still alive because I thought it would be great to know about her story, and I gave it to her at Christmas time, and I think she was a little insulted, frankly. She wasn't really thrilled with the present, and she didn't actually use it. And so now I have the book, and what I like about it is that it has prompts in it. So it has all these different prompts and asks you questions to help you pull out your story. And I thought that this might be useful in putting my story together as I go along with this new project. So I pulled that out. I'll have to clean that up. You can see it's covered with dust. And then I have all sorts of various binders and photo albums and things that okay, so here I've actually started putting some of the pictures into chronological order, but you can see this album is all yellowed and it's not great. So the other thing, of course, is if you have suggestions on the actual albums and ways that you like to store your pictures the best. What I've done is I've gone ahead and I've purchased some very good quality 12 by 12 photo pages, and I also have the 3-ring protection sheets to put them in, and I'm going to use that as a basis. So because this book is going to be really big, at least I expect it to be, I want to get everything staged and in place before I start putting the pages in different order, because as I go through all the old boxes and things in the attic, I'm sure I'm going to find all sorts of other things. So, you know, letters, greeting cards, fortune cookies, you know, anything you can think of. I'm just looking down here and I see, look at all these slides. That's a whole other story, right? Is what to do with the old slides. So that's the quick introduction. I'm going to let you go. I just want you to know what I was thinking about doing. I'll be back on the first Saturday of each month to share my progress with you. Also, I have joined a wonderful group of scrapbookers who meet in Colebrook, which is a town next to my town, once a month, and I'm learning so much from them. These are people that have been doing this for a long time. It's a fantastic group, and I know that there are scrapbooking groups and crops all across the country, around the world. So if you're somebody that is feeling inspired to do this along with me, I would suggest that you find a local group that you could join. It's a great way to spend the day or a weekend. Could be a retreat, whatever the case may be. So all of that information we can share in our private Facebook group. If you're interested in joining that, just please put a comment below. Please like and subscribe to my page so you don't miss any kind of notifications. And also, you're welcome to join my newsletter, Notes from Dandelion Cottage. And in the newsletter, I will also be posting information about my progress and how my project is coming along. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm looking forward to getting this project underway, and I'm also curious to see who my scrapbooking friends are out there. So let me know. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.